Well, the fuel smells horrible in here. I just took the gas cap off and you can smell that varnish kind of smell, and it's kind of an odd looking color. I think the best thing I can do is take this fuel tank off and clean everything out, and the fuel inlet in there should have a little filter on it. Check to see if that's partially stopped up as well before we take this carburetor off. So I took this cover off here on the carburetor. This is the air filter, not much to it, kind of paper, but I got to get these fuel lines disconnected from the carburetor here, and there's a check valve here that just kind of goes with the tank, so you can at least first dump that old fuel out. Looks like there's two Phillips screws here holding the entire tank, and that should come right off. And the fuel tank's off. It's actually got 3 screws in here. I actually had missed one. And we're going to dump this nasty stinking fuel out of here. It smells horrible. So this is the fuel that came out of this, kind of gross looking. It smells just as bad. So we're going to put just some regular gas in here and clean this tank out. It's not all that dirty, best I could tell. So this is the filter. I've kind of retrieved and pulled that out, and I can blow through all this. But we're going to clean all this out the best we can before we put clean fuel in there, and then we'll try to start that as is with clean fuel, and if that doesn't work, we'll take the carburetor apart. Before I put the tank back on, which is nice and clean now, including that filter, I blew some carburetor cleaner back through into the filter. It all seems to be, you can blow through all that. I put some carburetor cleaner in these lines here, and also carburetor cleaner in here. Everything is very clean. I'm going to put the fuel tank back on, put some fuel in, and just give that a try before we attempt to even take this carburetor apart and see if it's full of trash as well. We've added some 2-cycle fuel in here, some 50-to-1 mixture. Got all the lines back up. Also cleaned the carburetor out a bit, just cleaned it with the carburetor cleaner, and got the air filter back in. Let's just try to give this a start again. So it's good I got the manual here. I'm just going to try to follow first the carburetor adjustment here. It says what to do if your engine runs rough or stalls. It says you need to adjust the carburetor and idle screws. So the red screw is a high screw, the white is a low. And I'm just going to follow this adjustment here before we take this carburetor off. So it says for adjustment to turn the red screw counterclockwise till it stops. And the white screw should be somewhere in the middle, no matter how many turns that may be. And then start it from there, it says. So let's give that a try. Okay, here we go. First try with the carburetor adjustment. Certainly priming. Here we go. Let's get the choke out again. Doesn't seem to want to keep running. Well, that's better. Let's keep working on this. Well, I'm not really happy how this is running here. I can make this run, but it seems to be sporadic where it will run and then it won't run without the choke on. So I've got the parts list. I'm going to look online possibly for a diaphragm kit for this carburetor. It doesn't seem to be that old, but with the contaminated fuel, it may have eaten that diaphragm up. And it's probably best to go ahead and take that carburetor apart and clean it anyway. See if that will solve. I put the other plug back in. There's nothing wrong with that plug. See if that will solve what seems to be a fuel starvation problem.